everybody. Sitting here with Alana Blankman, and we were discussing pitch catch. Alana, do you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, so I am Alana. I am originally from New Mexico, and I am one of the co-founders of Pitch Catch. And yeah, super excited to talk to all of you people who may watch this.
Cool. And Josh, you've been at Pitch Catch before. You're kind of helping me this weekend. We're doing hosting a Pitch Catch alumni meetup. Do you want to just kind of say a bit about yourself and your experience with Pitch Catch?
Yeah. So I first attended Pitch Catch, I think, at the end of 2021. It was I think it was the first one that they had after COVID had happened. And so it was really cool to experience that and be around an environment where other people were coming back to acro after the lockdowns and everything. And we were starting to feel comfortable with, like, how do we do this anymore? Are we still comfortable with doing things with each other? And then start to progress to where it's become more of like a family. And that we look forward to seeing each other a few times a year when we're able to. It's a really wonderful environment that's like an enclosed space where you're dedicated toward training and improving not only yourself, but just each other as a community and being there for each other.
Awesome. And I'm Brian Cotton. I'm based in Austin and super excited to share Pitch Catch with Central Texas people. It was super meaningful and such great training, such great community that I hope more people will join. So that's what this is about. So Alana, do you want to tell people what is Pitch Catch?
Yeah, so Pitch Catch is, as far as I know, the first partner acrobatics intensive that started happening in the US. We are going on our 9th year. Next spring will be our 10th spring program. It was a program that was formed out of the desire of me and April, who is my business partner and co-founder of Pitch Catch. We wanted to take an acro intensive and we didn't see one that existed. And we were like, well, if we can't find one, maybe there's other people that might want to take one too. So what if we just made it happen? And we were lucky enough to have a chance encounter with somebody else who knew somebody named Nico, who turned out to be a hotshot acro coach. And he went out on a limb to coach at our very first Pitch Catch. And it just was all a pretty charmed set of events that led us to creating this really beautiful space for partner acro, especially standing acro. We kind of started Pitch Catch when people were getting into acro yoga, but standing acro wasn't really a thing in the US. And there weren't places teaching hand to hand. And we were like, we want to see that happen. And now you can go to any acro festival and get plenty of hand to hand instruction, but I don't think there's anywhere else in the country that's doing this kind of in-depth training with a high eye towards technical skill progression and really building the foundational skills to such a strong level that then you can take it wherever you want.
How do you think about setting that up so people are learning those skills, and what are some of the skills that get taught there besides hand-to-hand?
Yeah, so we have an incredible team of coaches who have all been coaching acro for many, many, many years. I don't know, there's probably like over 100 combined years of acro coaching amongst the staff, maybe more, like 120, 150, something like that. So every year we're sort of refining our offerings, figuring out new progressions that help people build skills in a really stepwise manner, with plenty of candy thrown in, but again, really trying to build, how do you build stability in the foundational poses of foot to hand and hand to hand? How do you build dynamic skills? How do you do tempos? How do you make skills that are hard a little bit easier, break them up into manageable pieces? And yeah, we focus a lot on hand to hand, but we also do a ton of work around foot to hand, around group skills like banking and swinging and three highs. We also have an Icarian track, so that's a really fun sort of other track. We also are, I'm pretty sure, the only acro program that also teaches tumbling. So it's a really unique space for adults to get tumbling instruction. And we're super excited because this year our the gym that we're in has just finished an incredible set of tumbling equipment with like in-ground tumble tracks and foam pits and all of that. So our tumbling capacities are going to take a really great improvement in terms of the equipment around it. And Cassie and Z, our two tumbling coaches, just have a ton of experience with adult bodies and adult fear around tumbling. So I think that's also super unique.
And then a question for both of you, like, who do you guys think should be at Pitch Catch? Like, when you imagine, like, oh, Josh, as a student, I want to learn with this kind of person. Lana, when you're kind of forming your program, who do you think of? Like, who do you imagine when you imagine someone attending?
I would say that one of the first requirements would be someone who has a passion for learning acro and has a healthy desire to improve what they do, that they see themselves in a community, and maybe they see someone who is doing some of these skills like hand-to-hand or different foot-to-hand drills or things, or maybe they saw performance and that they wanted to learn how to do that, because I think that the right kind of person is someone who enjoys what they're doing in this and enjoys learning with other people. And then someone who also not only has the desire to learn, but also has some discipline to work toward that too. Someone who's willing to train and do the work, someone who's willing to get strong enough or have enough endurance to even actually train in a more rigorous way as well.
Alana, same question. When you're planning out these year after year, who do you want to be there?
Well, I think one of the cool things about our program is that we have 3 different tracks. So we have the intermediate track, which is really great for people who are like experienced in too high. They're people that have maybe been doing a lot of acro yoga or like have another movement practice. They're pretty solid in their bodies, but like need that next push in their technical skill level, particularly around, standing hand to hand and standing foot to hand. And then we have our advanced track, which is folks that are already really solid in their hand-to-hand, but are looking to build their dynamic exits and entries and building the foundations towards bigger dynamic skills. And then we have our proficiency track, which is for folks that already have some background in those dynamic entrances and exits and are really looking to push their skill levels to courbettes and cascades and taking a lot of those skills that people think of as something you have to do in lines and spotting lines out of spotting lines. So, you want to be able to do your mono hand to hand, or you want to do your cascade out of lines, or you want to do your banking back tuck out of lines. Like that's what proficiency track is about building towards.
Awesome. And then other than acro, one thing that I've been really impressed with the organization is the community aspect to it. You have Travis that's there that kind of helps support the community. And you have Jeremy that hosts fun, off hours type people, like just super enjoying the space. And then you also have programs that are more social justice and things like that. Do you want to talk a little bit about what your feeling is in regards to just the community and that aspect?
Yeah, I mean, that's one of the things that's always been really special to me about Pitch Catch, like something that Josh said about like it feels like a family. And that's something that I think April and I were always really hopeful that it would feel that way, because acro is such a community endeavor. Like you can't, even if you have a partner, you can't build your acro skill without a community of spotters and outside eyes and coaches and all of that. So it really takes, a village to raise an acrobat. And I think that we really try to foster an environment where we see that like we all can lift each other's boats. And I see so many people coming in there getting like as much excitement out of like being somebody's first successful hand-to-hand as whatever other skill they're working towards. So I really love that element. And then on the social justice piece, we are constantly trying to make more space and accessibility for acrobats who are Black and brown and Native and trans. So we have a fellowship program for all those folks. And then we also partner with some local organizations in Asheville to try to give back to the community where our course is held.
Awesome. So question for both of you, but we'll start with Lana this time, and I think this will probably be our last question. Share like a memorable experience from like one of the recent pitch catches. It doesn't even need to be in the space. It can be just hanging out with people on the weekend or anything.
Gosh, so many. I think the first thing that comes to mind is actually not a recent experience, but we've had a lot of British acrobats come to the course, and there's something about British humor, and some of them I knew from circus school, and so we stayed with them, and just riding to school at 7:30 in the morning, dealing with traffic or whatever, but not caring at all because they're just like making me laugh my pants off, like, and just the joyfulness of being in an environment where like everybody's doing the same thing and on the same schedule, and you get to feel like you're back in college or something, where it's just like you feel a little separate from the normal like demands of day-to-day life, and in this sort of like magical realm where we just get to like do acro and make each other laugh all day.
Who is that? Just curious. From the
so Harry and Kirsty, who came to the very first pitch catch and came to a number of them after that, and Ben and Charlie and all of those folks, they recently did they have this amazing show called Farmyard Circus, and they did a little Instagram takeover for us. So if you saw a bunch of people in overalls on our Instagram lately, that's who they were.
Josh, I was going to change the question just a tiny bit. Can you share kind of like a spot in Asheville that you had fun while you were visiting Asheville as well? So something that someone might do as part of your memory that you're sharing.
That actually works well with what I was going to talk about. So last fall, I ended up going for the full 5 weeks, and some of us ended up getting to the point where we were feeling a bit stretched, or maybe even a bit run down a little bit physically and emotionally from just all the intensive training. So there was one day that Jeff, a couple other people from out of country, and I ended up taking a break and going to the Blue Ridge Mountains and just hiking for a few hours during the classes, since we were all kind of a bit, some of us were injured too, but we wanted a break from just doing more acro and mentally too. So we just decided to go and explore. And so that's a wonderful thing that people end up doing too, not necessarily during the week during classes, but on the weekends for sure. A lot of people tend to go to a few different places. They're just a lot, like the Three Falls or some of the national or state parks around there too. It's just a gorgeous place to go and even just sit and look at nature or be in nature when you need a break from just the training.
Awesome. Before we close up, is there anything else that you guys wanted to share?
Brent, I'd love to hear your favorite moment at Pitch Catch.
Oh man, my favorite moment at Pitch Catch, a lot. I like there's something that's called Magic Mike, and I remember my first one. This is something that I think, who started? Was it Jeremy and
Eric McKeithen, who hasn't been there in a little bit, but has been around. Yeah.
Okay, I think Zara also hosted my first one, and she's just so funny. She's such a personality. But it's a time where we get to come together and just kind of express ourselves and in a safe space, and that's really, really cool. You get people doing fun things. It's good. So that'd be one of my favorite pieces that has been consistent at Pitch Catch. That's fun, and I hope continues as like a tradition. And then I also really enjoy Micah. He does song circles. Micah and Christine at their place, they'll get people together and sing. So I usually go over there sometimes. Cool. Awesome. Well, thank you both for doing a little interview, and can't wait to be there in the fall.
Yay! Thanks for organizing this, Brent, and I hope you guys have so much fun at the meetup. Sounds like such a cool event. I wish I could be there.
I hope we get you
I'll miss you.
I'll look out for some pictures or videos, hopefully.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. Thanks.
See you in a few weeks.
See you in a few weeks.
Bye.
Bye.